This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. I once went to church with a friend of mine, and he introduced me to his pastor, and then we went back again. About 10 years later, we walked in the door, the pastor took one look at me and said, "Hey, Stever, I hope all is well with you." Mind blown. When someone remembers your name 10 years later, they have obviously proven themselves a person of discriminating taste and high expertise. So, if you want to make that impression, there's no better way to do it than to master the art of remembering people's names. And there's no better way to learn to memorize than to turn to a master. That's why today's episode is based on an interview with memory expert Jonathan Levy. You can visit getitdoneguy.com/remember to learn more, but for now, I'll try to give you the rundown. I'll start with what you already know, that remembering people's names is a simple act that can do a ton of good for new relationships. But when we're meeting people, names can often go in one ear and out the other. Just like when our parents used to tell us that chores needed to be done when we were teenagers, in one ear, out the other. If we want to remember names from introductions, we need a better plan than just hoping for the best. Jonathan Levy says that we need to stop and engage our memory based on how it evolved to work. Now, my human brain is so incredible and awesome that when I meet a new people, I'm able to remember their face and body language for years. And yet, I'm also able to forget their name mere seconds after they introduce themselves. This is because handling images took center stage in our brains for tens of thousands of years of human evolution. So the average human is far more likely to remember images than sounds, or smell, or taste, or pretty much any other type of information for that matter. Take words, for example. Words are great. They're the building blocks for modern thought and human interaction. Without them, Facebook and Twitter would be out of business. But at an evolutionary level, our brains are still learning to deal with language. And a name is a word, so to remember words, we must turn to imagery. When you meet someone whose name you want to remember, make a mental picture of them in a scenario that's related to their name. When you meet Nick, make a mental image of Nick nicking himself while shaving. When you meet Sandy, make an image of Sandy on the beach building a sandcastle. And as for Pandora, imagine her hanging out next to a statue of Pan, who is of course your favorite Greek demigod, with your good friend Dora. Next, relate the name to something you already know. Connect your new knowledge to something that's already in your minds. Your brain needs a path to the new information, and that path is via old information. Since we humans are very self-centered creatures, we remember the vivid details of our own lives. What did you have for dinner last night? I'll bet you remember. What did your best friend have for dinner? I'll bet you've forgotten, or even worse, you never called to ask. See, we're all self-centered. So, connect new names to memories from your life, and they become easier to remember too. Relate the name of the new person to something familiar. For example, imagine Nick's bloody tragedy happening in your very bathroom, or Sandy's sandcastle being built in your front yard, right by the flower beds. Now, take a conscious moment to deliberately burn it into your brain. This may feel unfamiliar at first. After all, it's not how you've remembered names up until now. But with practice, dedication, and repetition, you'll be able to activate your visual memory like butter. Big, yellow, familiar butter from your very own life. Of course, you can also make your memory thrilling or unusual, because what helps this work even better than merely familiar butter is making your images thrilling and unusual butter. If you look at brass and string chamber ensembles, all you see is sax and violins. If you look at TV, all you see is sex and violence. That's because, let's face it, danger and reproduction were pretty much our two basic drives for millennia. Oh wait, did I say were? Haha, silly me. Jonathan reports that images relating to sex and violence are even more powerful. Danger, in particular, activates an intuitive threat response that can help your brain latch onto images. So when you imagine Sandy building a sandcastle, imagine it coming to life with cute little sand trolls who swarm all over Sandy, hacking with their cute little sand axes and munching on Sandy's cute flesh while discussing the election results. A bit morbid, I know, but it's all in your head, and it is memorable. Of course, instead of violence, you can also just go weird. In the good old Savannah days, many things that were new and exciting were probably trying to kill you. So we don't just remember real danger, we also remember the unusual, since it was probably going to be dangerous too. So when you're remembering Pandora, don't just picture her standing with Dora near a Pan statue, picture them stealing it, or covering it with bubble gum. The weirder, the better. And that visual, if you do it successfully, won't go away no matter how hard you try. The key to remembering names is to engage your natural memory. Imagine the person you're meeting in a situation that sounds like or reminds you of their name. Make the situation familiar with an element of danger or sex to heighten the effect, and concentrate on the imagery for a moment, and you'll remember it that much better. And remember this, visit getitdoneguy.com/remember to hear the full interview with memory genius Jonathan Levy. So imagine a giant superhuman brain with amazing memory skills sitting on your keyboard. Now imagine putting a little Get It Done guy on top of it, eating a slice of Oreo ice cream cake. And now when you get back to your computer, your brain will imagine that brain, and you will remember getitdoneguy.com/remember. This is Steve Robbins. I run webinars and other programs to help people be extraordinarily productive and build extraordinary careers. If you want to know more, visit steverobbins.com or text Get It Done to 33444. Then you'll text your email address, and not only will you be added to my mailing list, but I will also send you chapter 8.75 from my book. It's the secret chapter on how to build relationships for a stronger career. Work less, do more, and have a great life.